Hello everybody and welcome back. So this message is definitely for somebody out there, okay? I know I have a little bit of me in there too, okay? Spirit was showing me the film, it's got Drew Barrymore and it's called Riding in Cars with Boys. And they showed me that film and I've watched that film lots of times when I was younger. And Spirit wants somebody to re-watch that film when you're older. Maybe I need to watch that film when I'm older, okay? But I think Spirit's going to show you something that's like maybe very similarity in your life, what happened, that can help you heal, you know? And make you also understand how ridiculous it was to be with a junkie. In that film, the bit that stood out, which I knew it was the film, was the bit when he, I saw in my vision, like the bit when he came up to her and he said to her, he was like high and he was supposed to go to work and he went off and he went and got high. So she was thinking he was bringing back money from work and he came back and she saw he was high and he said, I just need a little bit, just a little bit to keep me high, but not enough to make me high. He said something like that in there. And Spirit showed me this and then it shows me my visions and I'm like, whoa. And I remember Kibby outside and I remember making dinner at 4 p.m. every day. I hate making food that early. I actually like making dinner at like 6, 7, but he used to like it at 4 p.m. and I'd have to put it in and it was gross, like you had to reheat it and it was really old fashioned. Anyway, I started knowing that he was on heroin because at 4 o'clock when I used to make his food, he wouldn't eat it. And then I started looking at his friend Kibby and I thought, whoa, he's really, really skinny. What's happened? And then I looked at my partner and thought, whoa, he is so skinny. And they had so much energy. The way they like jumped on the van and like loaded it and unloaded it. I never realized that heroin had that effect. I felt that like when I watched films, heroin made people fall asleep. But that's not true. Heroin gives people energy so that they can move, so they can go and do things. If they don't have heroin, that's actually when they're sleeping and they can't do anything. But when you heal from trauma, when you heal from addictions, when you heal from alcoholism, you start to remember memories. And these memories are very sacred and they're very, you need your memories to heal you. If you forget memories, you can't heal yourself, you're lost. And that's where depression and anxiety and all of these other things come in because we can't actually see what the real truth is. And it takes time to be alone, it takes time to be sober, celibate, to actually start to remember certain pieces in the way that they actually truly were in the form. But in that, I don't know if that might be something to do with the person watching this, or I don't know, this might help you to understand a little bit more. But if you watch that film, you understand, because that's very similar to my life. It was very like, parents didn't like the person, parents said, I'll like pay to have the abortion. Then it's like, no, you had to leave my house. And then it's like, I don't want nothing to do with you. Then it's like, he's absolutely terrible for you. And then after, when he's hitting me, oh, actually, no, you need to stay in that relationship. You need to do what's best for your family. She's crazy. She's had a mental breakdown. How did I have a mental breakdown? We have to look deeper into why people have episodes, because like with myself, honestly, this week it's been really calm, but nobody's brought me any drama, and like I'm ready for it because it always says the calm before the storm. Normally when things are calm, something boom is going to happen after. So enjoy that calmness and rejuvenate yourself, you know, do things that you truly love. But my whole point is, you need to really thinking deep, you need to just put yourself first. And if you, like with me and my EUPD, when it gets set off, it's normally by trauma, what people do, and then you see like a really different side to me. She's like a really nasty, horrible, vocal, like not even violent, just verbally violent. And it's like, whoa, if you trigger someone like that's got a disability like that, and then after you actually accuse that person of actually being uncomfortable, like that person's crazy, but what did you do to make that person like that? Because that person's quite calm. That person stays to herself. That person doesn't do anything. So how is she like that? How is a person that was literally riding horses, introverted, looking after elderly people, turn into somebody doing all of those naughty things? How did you learn that? Who you're around? You have to look deeper into situations. Yeah, and that Riding in Cars with Boys, like, that is a really sacred film. That is very good film for everyone to watch. It's empowering, because she actually really does, she manages to, like, bring up her son on her own in the end, and she writes a book. She's established, but she has got a lot of problems because of that past. And I think that if you see that, they go and see him, and I think he's like living in a trailer, and he didn't have any teeth, and then the son saw him again, and he was just like shocked, because what that man didn't realize is he thought, oh, I've got different life, you have to love me now. But that son saw him, and he was like, I only remember the memories you created when you were with me as a child. And then he gets back in the car with his mum, and he like is a shock, because he's like, whoa, my mum's like a single mum, and she tried her best, she did everything for me, and that is my dad. That's my dad. And that dad never bought him clothes or shoes or put anything into him, activities. He never did anything for that boy. But in that Riding in the Cars of Boys, you can watch these films, and you can even see your futures, what they'll play out to be. But some people are so disgusting, they don't want to tell the truth. That, you know, that man, he could have said, I was a junkie. I really fucked up there. And do you know what? I was trying to give your mum drugs. That's how bad on drugs I was. I was even trying to get your mum on drugs, because if I got your mum on drugs, she wouldn't left me. I could have got money from her. This is the reality of what's happening in this world today. And it's so sad that people will hide behind things and hide behind new partners and other new social situations, or new job careers, or new holidays, new cars, new teeth, new clothes. And you feel like your past is not following you. But you have to always remember, like, when you're putting poison in your body, there's one thing of poisoning yourself, but there's a different thing when you're making poison and you're giving that to someone else. You have to learn the difference between poisoning yourself and poisoning other people, as well as poisoning yourself, because you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew. Okay? I don't know who's that for, but you need to go and watch that film. It's called Riding in Cars with Boys. Okay? Have a great day. Thanks.